Right, let's talk about honor codes. What honor is a person's reputation. That's what honor means in every sense of the word. Okay? Now there's two different types of honor codes. There's societal honor codes and there's individual honor codes. A societal honor code is a list of behavior you would expect out of a certain person who belongs to a certain group of people or a certain class of people, like a samurai. You would expect a samurai to have a certain skill set and behave in certain ways, and you would expect them to not do certain things in certain situations. A modern day societal honor code would be like something in the ghetto, whereas you are expected to not rat out your neighbors. And if you do, you become the Cain, like the mark of Cain in your neighborhood. You'd be ousted in your own neighborhood, right? Um, an individual's honor code is a list of behaviors of things that you want to do in order to become the person that you want to become, and a list of things that you want to avoid in order to avoid turning into somebody you don't want to be or turning into a piece of crap in general. Like for me, one of my rules, one of my honor codes, is I do not lie. So whenever I'm put in a situation where telling the truth wouldn't be a good idea, like say I'm kidnapped and the kidnappers want my home address so they can go get my wife and kids or something like that. Instead of lying, instead of giving them a false address, I would just say nothing. Because if I lied, then I would be dishonoring myself. I would be breaking my own word, right? So, word of mouth advertising, or whatever you want to call that, is kind of a low key way to maintain an honor system. Like, for instance, in town, there's this one particular owner of several different companies, a lot of different companies. They all go by different names, but they're all owned by the same guy. And here in town, we know about this, and we don't call him for any kind of work because he's always doing shoddy work. And the reason why he has several different companies is so that he can market to several different areas, people who haven't heard of him or heard about this one company, but maybe not one of his other companies. It's the same guy sending the same people to do shoddy work. And so the unsuspecting customer, by way of being marketed, calls him up, then he does shoddy work, then he doesn't return calls, and this guy incurs debt, and then he has to go bankrupt, and then he has to start another company. So, I mean, it's a very dishonorable person. He always breaks his word. Um, we don't put a lot of merit or value in people's honor anymore because of photo ID. Because you have to think about it. Back in the day, your reputation was associated with your name, which means you had to continually behave in a way that people would recognize or have a good expectation of your behavior based on your name. And again, back in the day, before there was photo ID, you can open up a bank account in anybody's name. As long as you had a signature on file with that name, you could have access to that bank account, right? So you could open up a bank account in John Smith's name as long as the signature you gave them when you open that account matches the signature every time you go make a withdrawal deposit. They didn't care what your actual name was because you had a reputation as that person, right, to have access to those funds. We don't do that anymore because now we have photo ID with a associated bank account number or driver's license number or social security number or whatever other number is associated with your photo ID now. So a person's honor, a person's reputation, it doesn't have as much value or merit anymore. You know, like I said, as long as you can market yourself to new customers every other week, then you can get more customers. Whereas back in the day, if you were known for not showing up on time, not doing a good job, not getting the job done, then your name was dishonored among the people. That's kind of like the societal standard. And then your name would be only as good as mud. So, yeah, that's about all I got to say on that. Let me know if you got any questions.